Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 91 in Detroit, and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. And we're also on Facebook Live. I have a great show for you this morning. But I'd like to tell people, because they don't know, that Highland Park, this is Highland Park's 100-year anniversary. Yes, Highland Park has been around 100 years. It started as a little village. Now it's a big village. Anyway, I want to just talk about a few things that are happening before I introduce my first illustrious guest, and then my other illustrious guests are coming on. The city of Highland Park, Michigan is celebrating 100 years this year. Highland Park officially became a city on April 4th, 1918, and this year marks 100. There will be events to celebrate the centennial year. Here are some of the scheduled ones, just in case. April 4th, which is next week. Do you believe it's April already? It seems like I just said Happy New Year.
Oh, this year's flying.
Yes. 11 a.m., a banner dedication and opening celebration will be held at the Avalon Village, which has been highlighted all around the world. Located on Avalon Street between Woodward and 2nd. 6 p.m. birthday celebration at the Elks Lodge, located at 50 Manchester in Highland Park. April 8th, 4 p.m., Centennial Gospel Celebration at the New Grace Church. They're going to be on Jam. 25 Ford in Highland Park, and on the 21st, 11 a.m., a citywide health fair at the Ernest T. Ford Recreation Center that used to be called Hackett Fieldhouse. So that's some of the things, but I'd like to introduce my first guest, Danielle D. Hughes.
Yes.
What does the D stand for?
The D stands for Denise, and it's very important because if you don't put the D in my name, I will not come up on a Google search.
Really?
Yes. Just recently, if you type in Danielle Hughes, I'll come up, but you just have to put the D in.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I just took the D and ran with it.
Danielle is the co-founder and COO.
Yes, Chief Operating Officer.
Yes, whatever that means. You'll explain it to me. For Detroit Speaks. Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you're a native Detroiter, right?
Yes.
So you got to Georgia State some kind of way. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about a little of your history.
So I'm a native Detroiter, grew up in the city. I attended Southfield Lathrop High School in Southfield.
Yeah, well.
It's no longer.
I know it's no longer there.
So,
neither is Southfield High. I was at Southfield High.
So I graduated from there. I was never a good student. I was never a scholar. I tell my students that all the time. Like, I was never an A student. I work in Renaissance now, and I'm like, I would not have stayed in this school. I would have been put out. But so never like a really good student. I was never focused on like studies. So I didn't get into any schools when I graduated because my GPA was so low. So I had to go to community college. And that's embarrassing when all your friends are going to State and U of M and Howard and Spelman.
I don't know. It's all in how you think about it
yes.
after a while.
Yes. So looking back now, it was one of the best decisions I could have made attending there first, because I got to figure out what I wanted to do with life. It was, what do I want to go into? What am I interested in? I didn't know what I wanted to study. I think that's such a young
my
age.
Twin? That's the way I was. Wait a minute. I was sitting in a typing class next to Venetia, a girlfriend of mine who's still a friend, and I said, so I realized it was senior year. I said, what you doing? What you doing? I said, we graduate. And she said, I'm going to college. I said, oh. She said, I'm going to Eastern. I said, oh, I guess I'll go there, And I was right in the middle of the class. I wasn't up there. Right. I wasn't down there. I was right in the middle.
Yep. So that's how, and I think 18 is such a young age to move away. It's like, you don't really know what you want out of life yet. So it worked out for me. I stayed home those 2 years. After my 2 years at community college was up, I told my mom I'm ready to move to Atlanta. She's like, and do what? Who do you know in Atlanta? What are you going to do? And I'm like, from the age I was 16, my uncle took me to Job Shadow Rhonda Walker my junior year of high school. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I'm going to be on TV. This is the career for me. So I ended up going down there. And, Atlanta is like the number 8 rated market state size. I'm getting tripped up in the United States. So Detroit is number 11. Atlanta's number 8. New York is number 1. LA is number 2.
Market as far as television,
yep,
right?
Television station. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go. head out there. I did all the internships I could, shadowed anyone I could, and it was kind of all history since then.
Okay, now you had some adventures.
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you tell us about them?
So I graduate from Georgia State, and I applied to probably 60 jobs in news. I don't hear back from any of them.
60?
60. 60. So I'm like, okay, I graduated. My lease is coming up on the place I'm staying. I have to move back home. So I moved back home, and I'm like, here I am, right back where I started. Right back where I started in my room from high school with the little Bow Wow posters, like right back to where I started. So a couple of friends of mine came over one day. I'm getting depressed at this point. It's like October. I graduated in August, so it's October. I still don't have anything, no prospects, no leads, no anything. So I took a job at a law office in Birmingham. When I got home, got fired from that job.
Why?
They called me. Had been there 3 days. They called me. Let's say I started on Monday. They called me like Thursday or Friday morning, saying, "Yeah, we're just gonna go in a different direction."
That's the stock. That's the we're looking. We're heading in a different
Yeah,
direction.
we're just heading in a different direction. So no hard feelings, but we're just gonna go in a different direction. So I'm like, okay, well, here I am with a college degree. Looking for a job in my field. I'm in all this debt, and I just got fired from a law office that I found on Craigslist. So I end up. A couple of friends of mine came over and they're like, let's make vision boards. I had never made a vision board before.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm fed up with where I am in life. I'm depressed. Let me be super specific with making this vision board.
Okay.
So I went on Google and I typed in specific pictures and words and quotes that I wanted to see manifest in my life within the next year. I'm like, I'm going to be specific. I'm not cutting anything out of a
Give
magazine.
me an example of some of a picture and then a post.
Okay, so I posted Sarah Blakely, who is the founder of Spanx. I posted a photo of her on on the cover of Forbes.
Right.
I posted,
Oh wow.
I cut that out, and this was in October of 2014. So I cut that out and put it on there. I put that I wanted to work for an ABC affiliate. I
Mm-hmm.
put that on there. And I put, I don't know, what else did I put on there? I put that I wanted Detroit Speaks to open a business account and for us to file our 501c3. So
And when you envisioned Detroit Speaks at
mhm,
that time,
mhm.
what were you envisioning?
Literally a 1 day conference once a year for youth in Detroit to match them with mentors. That's all it was supposed to be. That was it. So
Mm.
in October of 2014, making that vision board, that was it for us. That was,
Right.
if we can pull this off once a year, we've made it. We've
And
done our
when you
job.
said us, you're talking about,
Yes, my two co-founders, Jasmine Swain and Brianna Alexander.
okay, that's great. So, what happened next?
So after that, I made that vision board in October of 2014, and I should have brought it. I still have it. And I got a call from an ABC station in Dothan, Alabama.
Dothan.
Dothan, Alabama.
Yes.
Yes. I got a call from an ABC station saying that they were looking for reporters. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. Making $22,000 a year.
Wow.
22,000. I had a car note.
But
I was paying rent.
it's about that
It's
experience.
about the experience. And if I had not had that experience, I don't believe that my life would have gone in the direction it's gone. Um, so that was in November 2014. So I moved to Dothan right after my 23rd birthday. I get there. Everything is good. It's a bit of a learning curve because I don't believe that you truly understand something unless you're in it. You can do all the internships. You can job
Oh,
shadow, read all the
applying.
books.
Application is everything.
Application is everything. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but I'm learning. I'm in a station car because when you're in a small market like that, you don't have a photographer, you don't have a driver, you don't have an editor. You're all of those things. So I'm my editor, I'm my own photographer, I'm the reporter, and I'm driving myself to all of these
Oh
stories.
my God.
So I'm in a station car doing 1,000 things at once. I end up rear-ending the person in front of me. Rear-ending in the station car. So it's a wrapped car, so the
Yes,
logo is
yes.
all
Oh,
over it.
oh wow.
So the woman gets out and she's furious. So she sees I'm in the station car. She sees that I'm young. She's like, you know what? My boyfriend is driving my car. I don't have any insurance. He doesn't have a license. Let's just call this a truce and not say anything. So of course I can't do that. I'm in the station car. I'm like,
Right.
someone is gonna send a picture of this and send it back to the station.
Right.
So
Was
I'm
there
like,
much damage?
no damage at all.
Okay.
No, there was minimal damage to my car, very minimal, and there was no damage to her car. She's like, let's just call this a truth, no truce, no big deal. So I'm like, you know what? I've never been in an accident, but let me take your information just in case I need it later. So I call my boss
And
and I
we can
tell him,
pretend like you're driving.
right,
Right.
exactly. So I call my boss and he's like, well, you need to get a police report. You should have gotten it at the scene, but go to the police station and get a police report. So I end up calling the lady. I meet her at work. She worked at a restaurant. We go and get the police report. I bring it back to work the next day, and they're telling me we don't know how this is going to work because you're too much of a liability at this point. So you were supposed to get it on the scene. Since you did not get it on the scene, we don't know if everything is factual in this police report.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, okay, I'm hoping for the best. I probably have $700 to my name at this point. $700. I have this car note. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've made it at this point. I made it out of Detroit. That was my only goal. I can't move back. I can't go back
Again.
again. I can't go back again. So this was on a Wednesday. Friday morning, I get called into the office. My boss says, "Hey Danielle, can I talk to you for a second?" I'm like, "Cool, of course."
What you want?
He
No.
sits me down with our general manager, and I tell young people this all the time. If you get pulled into an office with your general manager, with the highest of the high boss, something either is really good about to happen or not so good is about to
Right.
happen.
Right.
So they call me in, and he says, "Yeah, we're just going in a different direction."
Oh,
I said, "Okay, I'm 2 for 2 now. We're just going in a different direction."
famous last words.
Yes. He was like, that accident, it just didn't look good on company records. You're just too much of a liability, and we can't risk losing station insurance on all of the cars that we have just because of you. So, wish you the best. You have to leave immediately. They I, they took me back to my little cubby, and I took everything out, put it in a brown box, and they walked me out.
Golly, those brown boxes, man, and they walk you
And
out.
they walked me
Oh
out. They
God!
took my key.
Did you put your head down and?
I was crying on the way out. Like,
Oh,
are you serious? What? I don't have
oh,
any family down here. I'm alone. I can't go back. I said, is there anything I can do to keep my job? Is there anything I can work in a different position in a different department? They said, no, you have to go immediately, effective immediately. You have to go. So imagine being in my first big girl job right out of school, that I worked so hard for, prayed so hard for. I'm 23. I'm 17 hours from home. And this happens? So I always preach mentorship. So whenever I speak to my young people or I do a speaking engagement, I always preach mentorship because my mentor played a pivotal role in me getting to my next position. So she worked as an anchor and a reporter in Atlanta. So I was 3 hours away from Atlanta. I call her distraught. Like, what
yeah.
do I do now? What do I do now? I'm not going back home. So what's the next step? She says, pack up your stuff, head to Atlanta. I packed up my stuff in the next hour. My little Ford Focus, packed everything up, and I was on the road to Atlanta. So I get to Atlanta. I'm at the station. She was like, I have someone I want you to meet.
Right.
My old boss in Augusta, Georgia, is looking for reporters. She was like, I'm going to connect you to. I said, cool. I don't care what it is. I'm sweeping floors. I'm mopping. I don't care
Right.
what it is. I need a
Right.
job. I'm not moving
Right.
back home. So her boss calls me within like 3 days, her old boss, and she says, you know what, I want to offer you this position. I'm like, but you didn't even interview me. You didn't
Right.
ask me
Right.
anything. You didn't interview me. She said, yeah, I want to offer you this position, but I have something else I want you to think about.
Okay.
So I said, so she says, I have something else I want you to think about, another position. I'm like, what could be that? You just offered me a reporter position. I just
Right.
got fired. You didn't even interview me. What could be better than this? She said, I want you to think about being my morning anchor. Now, mind you, I'm 23. I'm like, listen, lady, now this is a little far. I can agree to being a reporter, but I've never anchored before. She's like, well, just come in, just read. We'll do a table read with you. If it doesn't go well, we'll stick with the reporter position. I said, perfect. So I don't practice on purpose because I don't want this anchor position. I don't want it. So I go in that Monday. I do the reporter read, blah, blah, blah. They're like, good, perfect. Let's sit you at the desk for the anchor read. Sit on the anchor desk with my co-anchor. She and I are bouncing off of each other, and I'm reading from the teleprompter, and I totally bomb. I totally bomb it. And in my mind, I'm like,
On
perfect.
purpose. And you did that on purpose.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm like, perfect. I don't want to do this anyway. So, I'm like, good. She's gonna offer me the reporter position. That's cool. That's what I'm comfortable with. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone just yet. Perfect. So she's like, you'll hear something from me on Monday. She sends me an email on Monday. She says, hey, Danielle, it was a pleasure meeting you, blah, blah, blah. I want to offer you the reporter position. She was like, but I would also like to offer you the position of morning anchor. I said, now, are you serious? The exact thing that I did not
You
want.
want one.
So then she also puts in fine print under the email, and we also want to give you an extra $20,000 to what you were making. I said, well, I guess I'm an anchor now for
Anchor.
an extra $20,000.
Hey,
I'm an anchor now.
right.
So I ended up being there for a year. That was in Augusta, Georgia. In March of 2016, she calls me in her office and she says, Danielle, we're just going in a different direction.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
I said, yes. She says, we're just going in a different direction. I said, am I getting fired? She was like, well, I wouldn't say fired. I would just say we're transitioning you out. I said, okay. So she said, we want someone with a little more experience, someone who would better fit our demographic. And I said, okay. They ended up replacing me with like a black woman, like 20 years my senior. And that was that. She told me, you have 90 days. So they gave me 3 months. They told me by July, we're going to take you off the desk immediately, but we're going to give you something else to do until July.
Right.
So I'm like, here we go again. So I walked outside and I called my mom and I was crying. I said, Mom, what am I even doing here? I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what I'm good at. And she kept saying, one day this testimony, you're going to be able to bless
Yes.
someone with this
Use it.
testimony.
Right. Right.
But at the time, I'm sitting in my little beat up car like, how? How?
You
How?
can't see it then.
You can't see. I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I end up applying to every job I could in Atlanta because I'm like, I'm not going back home. Not again. Not again. So I have to stay in Georgia. I'm not moving back home. So I end up applying to 75 jobs this time, at least.
75.
75. By the time my lease was up in July of 2016, do you think I heard from one of them? Did not. So my mom, she's like, well, you got to come back home. You got to have somewhere to go. Your lease is up. You have to come back home. So I'm telling her, don't get your hopes up. I'm here for 2 weeks and that's it. And I'm
Yeah.
out of here. I'm not
Okay.
staying. Don't even tell family that I'm here. I don't want anyone getting excited because I'm out of here. So 2 weeks ended up turning into 2 months. 2 months ended up turning into 2 years, and I'm still here. So uh, when I got home, I said I might as well start doing something that I'm passionate about. I'm getting unemployment, and I got a severance check from my station, so I'm making enough money to sustain myself. I might as well do something that makes me happy.
Right.
I start going full throttle with Detroit Speaks programming, and at this point, I'm the only co-founder that's based in Detroit. Brianna is in Atlanta, and Jasmine was in St. Louis. So I'm the only person. I'm like, let's get some programming together. I started pitching the program to schools, to principals, meeting with anyone I knew who worked in a DPS school and
Right.
worked with young people.
Right.
Let me tell you about our program and let me tell you how it'll help your students. So we started doing that in October of 2016. I got a nomination from Forbes for the Forbes list. This was in 2016. So I ended up going to the summit.
How did they hear about you?
So I'm guessing I was nominated. To this day, I don't know who nominated me.
Okay.
And I ended up going to the summit, and it was great. I didn't end up making the list that year, but it was just a good experience. And I feel like it was just such confirmation from God. Like,
Now,
this
what
is what you
happened
need
at
to
the
be doing.
summit? Let my viewers know what happened.
So the summit is the Under 30 Summit, and it happens every year in October. And it's kind of, a meeting of the minds of young people under 30 in technology, in education, in entertainment, in media. And it's just it's a 3-day weekend of workshops, of seminars, of networking, just to you know,
Now, is it multicultural?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I came back home from that, didn't make the list, but I'm like, this is just such confirmation, I feel like, from God that this is what you need to be doing.
You're doing the right thing.
You're doing the right thing. Because who in the world would have thought for me putting that on my vision board in October of 2014?
That here you are with Forbes.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So in March of 2017 of last year, a friend of mine who worked at Renaissance, she was like, I want you to come speak to my students. So I go speak to her students. Long story short, Detroit Speaks produced our inaugural Emerging Leaders Mentorship Program, and that's the biggest component of our program. It's a 3-month accelerator program for young people in Detroit to introduce them
What
to
ages?
13 through 18, to introduce them to entrepreneurship, college and career choices, and exposure is just something that we're very, very adamant about. So I go, and after speaking to her students, I had 15 students emailing me like, I want to be a part of this. I want to get involved. And it just went from there. So that summer, I was actually offered a position at Renaissance, and I'm there now. And I work as a dream director through the Future Project. So
A dream director.
I'm like they're a life coach.
Right.
a life coach and a mentor in the schools just to add extra support. So I don't teach a class, but I have an allotted time every Thursday from 1:30 to 3 where the kids come to me and we meet and I coach them and we do field trips or whatever else. Last Thursday we had a retreat at the car center. That was our field trip.
Okay.
So that was really cool. But that's just how I ended up there, just from following my passion. And when I would hear people say, follow your passion, the money will come, I'm like, yeah, right, that's terrible advice. I still have bills to pay, but I'm a living witness that, of course, you need to pay your bills. Now, don't say that, just your
Or
passion, you're just
just
a
give
passionate
up. Yeah,
person who,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm
just
saying?
does stuff.
Yes, you have to be strategic. I believe that strategy is one of my superpowers. When people ask, like, what do you think you're good at? I think it's being strategic. I've gone into every situation like, okay, this is my exit plan. This is what's going to happen. And after being fired so many times, it's like you have to have one. Um, this is what this is what I want to come next. This is who I want to connect to.
Absolutely.
So I believe that's been like one of my strong points. So fast forward. I'm in Renaissance. Started in September. In November, I was getting my a friend of mine who I met at the Forbes Summit last October. He says, "Hey, I'm sending in nominations for the Forbes list. Do you want me? Is it okay if I share your information?" I'm like, "Sure, that's fine. I didn't make it last year. Don't have too high hopes for this year, but that's fine. You can share it." So he sends out the nomination. I get an email saying I've been nominated. They send me this like 15-page application asking how much money we've grossed in the last year, who our top funders are, who our partners are, all of this stuff. I don't fill out the application. I filled out the first 3 pages. I'm like, you know what? This is very extensive. I have a very busy day today. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna complete this application. So I filled out as much as I could, and I sent it back, and I said, okay, whatever happens, happens. So the list came out November 14th, 2017. I was getting an oil changed. I'm like, I know I didn't make the list because I didn't even fill out the application. So I'm getting my oil changed, and I'm sitting there scrolling through my phone, like, let me see who did make the list. And I saw my picture.
Oh,
I dropped my
wow.
phone, ran out of the oil change place, left my car, and I'm just like running down the street. So the guy who was doing my oil change, he was like, "Are you coming back? Like, what are you doing? Are you leaving this car here?" So that was that day, the day that I found out that I made the Forbes list. But
Question. What about funding?
so a lot of our funders come from just like word of mouth. So Ford has been a big funder of ours. Um,
So it's a nonprofit. You have a
Yes, we're
nonprofit.
501c3.
Mm-hmm.
Quicken Loans, Rock Ventures has
Right.
been, one of our biggest partners. We hold a day of service twice a year, and they were, like one of our biggest funders and partners for the one we had last September. Um, so yeah, so it's not. I think that people think that just because you're in a nonprofit, you're a professional volunteer and you don't make money, but that's totally not
Right.
true.
That's untrue. Now, here's my questions before I mean, your saga was amazing. No, but I believe in it. I relate to it on so many levels. Now, where do you see yourself or would like to see yourself in 5 years?
So in 5 years, well, within the next two, I would like to open a smoothie bar
Oh,
downtown.
really?
So I went on a vegan diet this summer, and I was on like a smoothie diet. I was drinking a smoothie every day, and ever since I was like 5 years old, I've taken a nap every single day. Every single day. And doctors have told my parents like she has a sleep apnea. There's nothing you can do to reverse it. She's just naturally tired. I would have to sleep every single day and take a nap at the same time. I felt the best that I've ever felt in my entire life by changing my diet. Now I'm not a vegan anymore because that was a bit much, but I have cut out beef and pork out of
So
my
when
diet.
when you do make your smoothie, is your smoothie see, I guess with me all I want is sweet smoothies, but but I, what's your average smoothie? What's in it?
So I love strawberries, pineapples, mangoes,
And then you put spinach
yogurt,
in it, don't
and
you?
spinach,
I knew it.
and kale. Then throw a little ice in there.
Yeah, if I could just drink it and not taste it,
Yes.
I would be fine. I just don't want to taste it. Well, Danielle, everything seems to be going your way.
Thank you.
And about the passion thing, I totally believe in it because you never know. As a child, and I tell people this all the time, you have dreams, you think about things and things you want to do. I think you should aim at those things because a lot of those initial things are your passion,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
part of anything is failing. Failing teaches you so much more than a
So
classroom
much
or,
more.
you know,
Oh my
because
goodness.
and then that way it makes you so relevant to your
Mhm.
audiences
Mhm.
because you have to let people know that if you fall on your face, you
Mhm.
have to get back
You
up.
have to get back up.
And
You
how
have
many
to get back
do
up.
you want to spread this to other schools or what?
Yes, for sure. So I'm on like my speaking.
Oh, yes.
I've just kind of walked into that. I did a keynote at Western Michigan last
Great,
Friday.
great.
And after that, I got like a lot of good feedback, and the young ladies are like, "I want to stay connected. I've been fired too." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing something right. I guess my mom was on to something when she said that this testimony would help to bless other people one
Yes,
day.
yes, it
So,
does. Yes,
that's
it
like we
does.
were talking about full circle moments earlier. That was definitely a full circle moment for me. So.
Absolutely. Well, do you have a website?
Yes, I do. My website
Let's
is.
tell the audience what your website
Mhm.
is. Also, if you have you contacted other schools?
I have been in contact with some schools, but still working on that.
Okay, okay, but let's give them your website.
Yes, so my website is danielledhughes.com. You have to put the D. It's
Danielle D.
Danielle D. Hughes, and my email address is hello@danielledhughes.com.
Oh, that's cool. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. No, hello. I am so pleased to meet you.
Thank you. I feel the
And
same way.
I have to call you because I don't
Yes.
know. People say every time I tell them, well, I taught high school for 39 years, they
Hmm.
say, oh, I had the best years of my life
Yes.
with
Yes.
young people and initiatives to get them to go in another
Right.
direction and so forth, or for them to look at themselves and say, "Ooh, that's me. I need to kind of
Yes.
modify my behavior or something
Yes.
like that." And you get them involved and they do the buy-in like they're doing with
Yes.
you, the buy-in. So I'd
Yes.
like to keep in touch, and if something else happens that you want to come on and talk about, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my
Thank you so much.
utmost pleasure. Now we're going to have a little bit of inspiration, also a little bit of music, also, Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday. Good Friday.
Good. Oh, today is Good Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Friday. Most Fridays are good, but this
Yes.
is a real good Friday. So I
Yes.
have the sounds of Imani getting ready to come up. Carol and Gerald Irvin, two of my favorite people. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fancy me, thought I had my degree in life and how love ought to be run. I had a one-step plan to prove it, guide in my pocket for fools, folly and fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because of who you are, my heart is filled with praise. Because of who you are, my life has changed. Looking back now, I can see all through my life the many times you cared for me. So alone, no one to care. Same old story. But you were there to comfort me because of who you.
All right. All right. You heard that. Those are the sights and sounds, well, the sounds of my guest,
All
the
right.
sounds of Imani. Good morning,
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Reverend
morning.
Gerald.
How you doing?
Looking like preacher man from from Do the Right Thing.
All right.
Ossie Davis's character. I forgot what they called him, but he was Mama Sister. Used to,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
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 And of course, Carol.
Yes.
Irvin. They're
Yes.
friends of the show, very good friends, great people. And I'd like to just welcome you back. You got so much happening since the last time. You
Yes.
do your radio show, which I
Yes.
was gifted to be on at one time. But
Gotta have you back.
Yeah. You know we got to bring
yeah,
you
oh
back on
yeah,
there.
yeah. I need the inspiration from you guys. But you've been acting and everything since
Yes.
then.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
tell us about the music we heard.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's because of who you are.
Right. Produced
And
by Mike Powell.
yes.
Produced by the great Mike
Mike Powell,
Powell.
yes.
And Mike Powell, of course, was Anita Baker's producer on her biggest hits, right?
Yes.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah. So, and
And,
Mike and I grew up together.
Louder.
Mike and I grew up together.
Okay.
So
Okay, this is fine, but I want my people on Facebook Live to hear you.
Yes.
all right.
All right now.
All right, y'all.
So you and Mike grew up together?
Yeah. I was one of the first Chapter 8 members.
Oh, you were with Chapter 8
Yes,
for a
I
minute?
was. Yes, I was.
Oh,
I played percussions, and Mike and and so I went and did something else with other groups as well.
right. And you all sing. You have a church, Acclaim
Yeah.
Ministries.
Yes. Acclaim Ministries International, and we are having services inside of Temple of Praise, which is located on 24650 West McNichols, west of Telegraph.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And services like 2:45 p.m., 2:45 to 4:45.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, this Sunday is Easter Sunday, and before we wrap up this your section, we're going to talk a little about Easter towards the end of this and the significance of Easter.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because some people, well, they say they know, but they don't always know.
Exactly.
Because it is such, to me, it's always been the holiest time of the year.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. That is right. It's Resurrection Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, you two have been married how long?
Well, 18 years
Yeah.
going on 19.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice.
I don't even count anymore. I don't even count.
I applaud you. I really,
So
really
I
do.
tell them we're still dating.
Now that's even better to hear that two people who are married are still dating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun, too, We have our youngest son. He's graduating this year.
Yes.
He's going to Kentucky State.
I can't believe
Can you
it.
believe that?
I remember. Oh my God.
The little fellow that
Yeah.
you say, "Come on, Josh."
Yeah, right. Kentucky State. I've spoken there. That's a nice campus too.
Yeah.
A real nice campus. Have you been down to it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
When you go, you'll see a steeple and everything. It's very, very nice.
Okay.
Is he in the band? He's going to be in the
Yeah.
Yes,
band.
he's in band.
I
yes.
had so many of my band students went to
Yeah.
Kentucky State,
Yeah.
and a lot of them ended up staying down there,
Oh,
living
okay.
down
Yeah.
there. Yes, in fact, one just got married down there.
Wow.
A few, just like several weeks ago, he met a girl down there and got married. So, what have you all? You all have been kind of traveling the country the last few years. Why don't you tell the audience about that, Carol?
Okay. Well, we have been going down to Nashville, Tennessee. We were there. And we are a part of a arts ministry called ACT International. And so it was a pleasure meeting so many wonderful people
Oh, yeah.
there. We met the Rob Frazier, who was a part of Petra back in the day, and Petra was a Christian, band, and we met so many wonderful people, and it was I was just excited to be there, and I know we had a lot of activities there, so we're trying to build a network relationships.
Oh, that's
there.
good. Relationships
Yeah.
are everything.
Yes,
Right.
They are.
Yes, they
Yeah.
really are, and I think it will, help our not only our outreach ministry, but it will also help our music ministry as well. So we've just been going around. I think we're going to be in June. We're going to be at the Rhythm of Gospel Awards. We are nominated in 4 categories.
Oh, congratulations.
So
Yeah.
we did make the finals.
Oh my goodness.
And
What categories do you remember?
oh, gee, I think one was new artist of the year.
Right.
One was
Inspirational artist.
inspirational. One was mixed duo, like female male, duo. So that was one of them. And I forget what the other one was, but it was 4 categories,
Well,
and
congratulations. Where is that going to take place
that's
again?
going to be in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, I know where that is. I was born in South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Are you coming?
I'm going to tell you about South Carolina.
Oh.
No, I was born on vacation.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather was sick. My mother went down there, and I came out. But so I was there 6 weeks or whatever. Back in the day, the
Yes.
woman stayed for 6 weeks, and I went look at 16. I was down there, and I went looking for the hospital I was born in, and walked clear into a cotton field.
Oh.
It was a
Wow.
house.
Wow.
It wasn't a hospital. It was a big house, I guess, where women went,
Yeah,
and
to-
stuff.
yeah.
So my father saw me when I was 6 weeks because he was
Wow.
up here working in the plants. But as far as South Carolina, I'm glad to see you coming. Now, 3 weeks ago, we had chairman of the board, and they flew in from South Carolina to do this
okay,
show.
okay.
Yes, and
Yeah.
my brother lives there. He lives in some part. It's 45 minutes. He lives 45 minutes from Charleston.
Okay.
okay.
Walterboro.
Okay.
That's what it is,
Okay.
Walterboro. And he used to say to me, he said, Brenda, if you want to come down here, you got to be doing something all the time. So we might as well meet in the airport, talk, and you get on a plane and leave. But, I got to be busy. I got to be
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
But that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's nice country, too.
Yeah, and that's going to be happening June the 20th through the 24th.
Really.
Yeah.
Enjoy it down there. Enjoy
Yes.
it. Really.
Yes.
Enjoy it down there. And you also have the poetry. What is the coffee house?
Yes, it's called the Anointed Faces Gospel Coffee House, and it's every third Friday at the Renaissance Unity Church.
Every third Friday at Renaissance Unity, which is right off the Southfield Service Drive in Warren, right?
Right,
Yes.
right. Yeah, and you come out, everybody's welcome. We come on out. If you got poetry, you can come out and come on, Brent. Got poetry. And,
I got
independent artists that come out and then showcase themselves. And
Exactly.
Really?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes.
and then when you come out, it's a donation, but food is included with the donation.
Exactly.
food.
Food.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, where you gonna find good food
Right.
and
Donation.
Music.
As in how much?
$10?
$10 donation.
That's it. It's nothing like a Friday night
Yeah.
listening to music,
Yeah.
poetry, and food.
Yes.
Having some food.
Yeah, we
Right.
have some good old fried chicken.
Oh, really?
Of course, Pastor G special.
You know what? I don't know why we like chicken so much.
Hey, that's the national bird.
No. My mother fixed chicken 5 out of 7 days,
Oh,
man.
man.
I remember.
I tell you.
It's just a shame.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was in a restaurant. What did I order? Fried chicken. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? But you all did some acting these past few years.
Yes, we
Yes.
have.
Why don't you tell the audience about it and who? Well, it was Mike Matthews' show, right?
Right,
Yes,
right,
yes.
right. We did Ain't Too Proud to Beg last year.
Ain't too proud to beg.
Wait, whoa. Ain't Too Proud to Beg.
Yeah.
Do you know that there's a musical that's going to Broadway?
Yes.
Written
Yeah.
by Dominique Morisseau
Yeah.
from Highland Park. Ain't Too Proud to Beg about the Temps.
Okay, yeah.
And this was a different one. Same title.
Yeah, same
it's
time.
different.
Yeah.
It's all about family. It's a gospel play.
Absolutely.
And I was the grandfather in that one. She was the grandmother.
Yeah.
And we sang.
You were the grandfather. She was the grandmother. And you all sang.
We sang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had a good time. And then this one is coming up.
Yeah, it's called Mama, Where Are You?
Mama, where are you?
That's it.
That's it.
Where are you, Mama?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the theme of this is what?
Well, it's about a foster home that is being run by pretty much money hungry husband and wife,
Yeah.
and they're not caring about the foster kids at all that
They
are there
spending
in the
up all
home.
that
They're
money.
spending up the money, staying gone half the time,
Hmm.
not being at the foster home when they should.
Because
And
there is a responsibility.
yes, it
Yes,
is.
yes, yes.
And so a couple of issues come up with
Hmm.
a couple of the young people in the foster home, and so the police enter in, and the issues get presented to a degree where
So,
it's like, okay, my goodness,
and we don't want to tell it all.
we
We
don't
want
want
you
to.
to
Yeah, we
come
want
on
people
No,
to
out.
no,
come
no.
on out and see.
No, 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 no,
No, we're
no,
not gonna tell
no.
it
But
all.
Mike Matthews, he has some great ideas writing his
Right.
play, and he invited us to come out. And we stopped doing the plays. We've been doing them ever since.
Absolutely.
So
Well, it's going to be at Northwest Activity Center,
hmm
18100 Myers, right in Detroit. Myers and Curtis.
Yes.
Myers and Curtis.
Yes.
And it's April 28th at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Correct?
That's correct.
Two
Yep.
shows.
Yep.
Yes, two shows.
Wow. Now Mike wrote this too.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Looks like it has a big cast.
Yeah, and we have a lot of nice young people in the
Right.
play this time too, because the play centers around young
Young
people.
people. I think about that news story that I heard yesterday about the family with the foster children, and the car went off that cliff
Right.
in
Yeah.
Right.
California, and
Yes.
there's three of the children they can't find yet. I don't know if they, well, got absorbed up into the ocean because it was on the Pacific Ocean,
Right.
and these ladies had adopted these foster children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So
But the reason why I brought it up was because they said one of the young men came next door. This is some neighbors were talking, and he was hungry. So what was going on in there?
Exactly. Exactly. And there are some
yeah,
troublesome foster homes, so it's realistic, and that's what I like about the
this
play that
play
Mike has written.
it
Yeah.
tells about some of the things you just spoke about. So it
Right.
has a lot. People need to come out and see it and
Yep. Come on
witness
out.
how it really plays a part in everyday life. What goes on with a lot of different places and how people come and just take advantage of the money and not taking care of the kids.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking about, when I look at you, Gerald, I think about you had a relative who passed away due to violence. I think you had last year or the year
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Two, my niece and nephew.
And I hated to hear that because just like a school, you should be able to live in a city without.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was very devastating because she had went to college, coming back to Detroit on Mother's Day. Going to celebrate, and her mom was waiting on it, and everybody. And that particular night, I had thought about it. I said, "Where is she at?" Woke up the next morning, she got murdered.
She was murdered in Detroit.
Yeah.
That was just so sad
Yeah.
because I had heard about it, but then when I saw it, it was your relative. And I am so very, very sorry. We have to do better, people.
Yes.
We have to
Absolutely.
do better.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when a lot of violence starts happening, I always say the inmates are taking over the asylum. We can't let that happen.
Right.
I'm at a loss because I don't know what to do. But we pray and we wonder why.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So and that brings us to a lot of other things that we do with our outreach as well. We have programs for the youth, and we want to make sure that they get involved so they'll know, life is better than what you see out here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
you can really find your purpose.
So this Sunday is Easter Sunday, and today is Good Friday.
Yes.
Tell us the meaning of Good Friday. Why do they call it Good Friday?
Well, well, I believe that in the instances leading up to Christ's resurrection,
Right.
a lot of great things transpired before that. You had like what we celebrated Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday happened to be when they made the celebration with the
The
The palms.
palms.
palms and everything like that, and so we did that. And then you have the Good Friday event that kind of kicks off the time when
The preparation of
yeah, the preparation period from Jesus's burial, and leading up to the
Because on Good Friday, that's the day
yes,
that he was
absolutely,
killed.
yeah.
yes,
And for Catholics, of which I am, this week is Holy Week.
mm-hmm,
Right.
And I remember, especially well, I went to Catholic school,
mm-hmm,
so,
Mm-hmm.
we were praying all the time.
mm-hmm,
But it was about, well, we do the Stations of the Cross.
mm-hmm,
And at each station around a Catholic church, you will inevitably see
mm-hmm,
Jesus carrying the
yeah,
cross,
Right. Right.
different places, and it leads up to that. It's such a holy time to me. It just,
yes,
Yes, yes, and some people don't recognize it. They, I'm off. This is Good Friday,
mm-hmm,
but it has more than just being off. It's about our Lord and Savior Jesus
mm-hmm,
Christ, and it's the Holy Week and the preparation, and, as my wife was saying about Resurrection Sunday,
mm-hmm,
so on the third day he rose, right?
mm-hmm.
yes.
Amen.
And Shirley Caesar did a song too about Friday night, Good Friday. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember that or not. And she
No.
was saying how the devil was celebrating. He was having a big
Yeah.
celebration because, oh yeah, we knocked Jesus out the way. He's gone, But in 3 days he rose again. And so I always tend to think about that song every time I think about Good Friday because she hit the nail on the head with it.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. A lot of
Yeah.
people just don't know
Right.
the meaning of it. And the fact that Jesus rose.
Yes.
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 And it is
That he did.
so awesome that he gave his life for us,
Hmm.
that we're living today.
Hmm.
Now,
Amen.
have you seen Jesus Christ Superstar before?
Years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Cause
Yeah, I've seen it several
Hmm.
times.
hmm
I've always wanted to direct that show. That's a show I didn't
Oh,
direct
okay.
that I always wanted to direct. But I want to tell everybody it's coming on Sunday evening, and John Legend is playing the role of Jesus. I don't,
Wow.
and it's going to look real modern and
Oh,
everything. But remember, it's kind of satirical too. They have all different kinds of music in it, from classical to R&B to rock and so forth.
Mm.
hmm,
And when Jesus was captured, there's one song, "Tell me, Christ, how you feel tonight. Do
hmm
you
oh,
think you want are you going to give up the fight and stuff?" And
okay.
then there's a song, one of my favorite songs in it is when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane,
Hmm.
Right.
and he said he's praying to God, but he's saying, "God, your will is hard."
hmm
Hmm.
And but I played every card. He says, "I will drink your cup of poison."
Mm.
Mm.
And he
Hmm.
said, "Nail me to
To the
that
cross.
cross."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you, I love that musical so much that when I was getting ready to have my first child, and I was going in, I said, "When I go into labor, I'm singing that entire musical." And I ended up sleeping through the whole thing. I don't even
Wow.
remember my daughter being born. Maybe she's not even my daughter. I don't know. Because I woke up, I said, "Well, what's happening? What's happening?" And they said,
Wow.
"Oh, you had your baby." I said, "You're kidding me." I fell asleep during the Johnny Carson
Wow.
show, and I woke up that morning. I don't know, but that's a whole nother. God is amazing.
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
I ain't
is.
is.
giving that woman no pain, and he don't want them to hear me sing.
Yeah,
In
but
that.
one of the greatest movies that I saw was The Passion of Christ,
Oh,
and
with
Yeah.
that was
Willem Dafoe.
yeah with
The one that
Mel
Mel
Gibson wrote.
Gibson wrote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Willem
Yeah.
well,
Dafoe. Right,
Willem Dafoe
Yeah.
played in
right,
it. Yeah, it
right.
was very, very, very graphic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Very
Mhm.
graphic. Because think about it: crown of thorns,
mm,
Yes.
nailed to the cross.
yeah.
Mhm.
Then they showed the beating, that people
Mhm.
suffering that he went
Right,
through.
right,
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
you saw the devil lurking through the crowd.
right. Now
Mhm.
tell
Yeah.
us one more time where they can find your ministry
Okay.
and we'll announce Mama, where are you?
Okay. Well, people can find our ministry at, especially our music ministry,
Mm-hmm.
www.soundsofimani, imani.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us there. Also, we have the Anointed Faces Gospel Coffee House, which is on a Facebook page, so you can look up
Anointed
that.
Faces.
Anointed Faces
Mm-hmm.
Gospel Coffee House. We're on Facebook. Also, our church ministry is on Facebook, Acclaim Ministries International. And of course, we have our outreach, a nonprofit
Right.
outreach, acclaimoutreach.org,
Mm-hmm.
and also our radio broadcast, which is on wepraiseradio.com.
Oh, we got to run. We
Yeah.
got to run. What day
Okay.
does it come on?
Monday through
What?
Friday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay, you
Yeah.
heard it here. Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy Easter
All
to
right.
you.
Happy Good
And
Friday to
we're
you.
gonna fade out. Okay.
All
All
right.
I'll
right.
see you. Stay tuned for Table Talk. We're doing Table Talk this morning. We got a lot to talk about, and I expect you to call in.